This is Math 2, 4.4 notes. That's Unit 4, Lesson 4. The title is Medians and Altitudes. Define is a median. What are medians of a triangle? A median is a segment. I'm going to leave room here for the picture. Joining the blank to the blank blank, and we will fill that in just a second. All right, let's draw a picture. Okay, so I'm going to make this triangle, and I'm purposely trying to make it not look isosceles, because isosceles triangles, special things sometimes happen, and that does not happen with all triangles. So a non-isosceles triangle is what I was trying to draw. The triangle could be isosceles, but not always. A, B, C. All right, a median is a segment, it's a line, segment, joining the blank to the blank blank. Okay, median, middle, the middle of. So I'm going to find the median of AB. So middle, we're going to eyeball it here. Again, if we had the tools in class, we would go through and find the actual midpoint. And a median is a segment joining the midpoint. It's the word I just used. So you find the midpoint, joins the midpoint to the opposite vertex. Opposite vertex. So that's a vertex, a vertex, a vertex. Angle C is the opposite vertex to the midpoint of AB. All right, so if you found the median, these two segments here would be congruent. I'll call that D. AD would be congruent to BD. Do you see how that works? So there's not necessarily perpendicular here. It might be depending on the triangle, but it's not always the case. So you can see that these two angles are not congruent. These two segments are. Okay, it doesn't bisect this angle. Those two angles are not congruent. The only things congruent is AD and BD. Again, on special triangles, other special things happen, but for the general triangle, the only thing that happens with the median is AD will equal BD, and it connects to the opposite vertex. All right, I'm going to leave a space in here because we are going to write one more definition. I'll just write at least the word centroid, and I'm going to draw another triangle about that size. But for now, I'm going to jump down to altitude. What are the altitudes of a triangle? An altitude is a segment. I'm going to leave space here to draw. Joining the blank to the blank blank. All right, let's draw a picture. Another triangle. Again, it could be isosceles, but it's not always going to be. And with isosceles, special things happen. So let's draw one that's non-isosceles. All right, an altitude. Oh, let's label this first. A, B, C. An altitude is a segment joining the vertex to the opposite side. Now, remember what I said about when you're joining things in like lengths, it's perpendicular. So altitude is perpendicular. So I'm going to call this the vertex, and I'm going to draw straight down so that it is perpendicular. CD is perpendicular to AB. Now, notice these are not congruent like they were up here. You see that? Those are not congruent. And up here, these are not perpendicular the way it is here. So you want to make sure you understand with altitudes, you're dealing with a perpendicular segment. And up here with the medians, you have these little bits, the congruent segments there. So know the difference between the two, because you will have test questions where they give you images and they ask you which one's the median, which one's the altitude. What's true about the medians? AD is congruent to DB. What's true about the altitude? CD is perpendicular to AB. So that kind of stuff you want to make sure you know how to recognize. All right, centroid, and we're going to add another definition down here as well. Centroid is the point of concurrency. We've had that a few times. The point of concurrency. I'm going to draw the image there of the medians. And you will have questions where you need to know what the centroid is, what it refers to, or what it looks like. The point of concurrency of the medians. Okay, so let's draw our picture. A, B, C. Now, if I were to find the midpoint of AB, and again, right now we're just kind of eyeballing it because we're not using our actual tools that we should be using or could be using. So, middle of AB and connect to C, congruent and congruent. Middle of CB and connect to the opposite vertex A, congruent, congruent, and the middle of AC and connect to angle B, congruent, congruent. All right, if you were to find the median of all sides, the median here, the median there, and the median here, they would always intersect at one point, the point of concurrency. So that point of concurrency there is called the centroid. All right, next one for the altitudes, that special point is called the orthocenter. Orthocenter. And this one, just like the last one, is the point of concurrency of the altitudes. All right, so we're going to draw this image over and over. So draw your triangle. A, B, C, and so opposite vertex to the opposite side, and it is perpendicular. That is there. I'm going to flip this image around, and actually let's go this way first. Opposite angle to the opposite side, and again you want it to be perpendicular. It's going to be, oh, see, that doesn't look right. It's a little harder to do without the tools, especially because I kind of made this triangle almost like a right triangle, which probably wasn't the best. And then this one here, I am going to erase this piece here, only because it is a little bit more complicated to draw when it is a right triangle, which is what mine kind of was looking like. And we can talk in class about what they look like. We'll actually do some on a worksheet where we draw them and can see what happens when it is a right triangle. Okay, let's try this again. Right angle. Right angle. And right angle. Okay. And the point of concurrency is called the orthocenter. So your job with these on the test is recognizing what is what. What does a centroid look like? What does the orthocenter look like? Now, they may give you the centroid is the point of concurrency of the medians. You need to know what the median looks like. They may give you the orthocenter as the point of concurrency of the altitudes. You need to know what the altitudes look like. So make sure you're studying this kind of stuff prior to the test. That is it for this lesson.